You know what really pisses me off? When people make super judgy blanket statements about all of indie animation. Obviously, there's that one tweet that went like, why does indie animation dialogue always sound like that? But I've also seen posts asking things like, why does all indie animation have to be subversive or dark? I swear to God, I feel like these people judge the whole concept of indie animation just by the most popular names in the bunch, as if there aren't hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of indie animation both already out and continuously coming out. Indie animation isn't just the stuff made by Glitch or Spindlehorse, or the rare smaller team that gets the spotlight every once in a while, or even just pilots or things intended to be a series. It's also someone's student film, or someone's music video, or a YouTuber who uses a lot of animation for their videos. Even if you animate a circle bobbing along to some music, that's still indie animation. I wonder who made that. If you don't like how people write dialogue in indie animation, how about a completely silent animated series about dinosaurs? Or if you're tired of darkness or being subverted, how about something that's just a lot of fun? And of course, I get it, at least a little. Obviously, some of these people just want to be the internet's main character of the day and will say anything to get there. But aside from that, it isn't easy to get this stuff dumped in front of you whenever it comes out. You really have to go looking for it. Or I guess, just have an algorithm that shows it to you anyway. So I'm just going to end the rant there and spend the rest of this video recommending a ton of the indie animation I've been watching over the years. I seriously do have a massive collection, and my YouTube algorithm sends more my way constantly, so I gotta show someone. And maybe, once you watch it all, your algorithm will try and send you more. So I'm going to rattle off 50 pieces of indie animation, whether it's a pilot, a full series, a short, a music video, or whatever else. I tried to go for things that were either not getting nearly as much attention as they deserved, or things that I just love so much that I have to bring them up, even if you heard of them already. Some of this stuff is recent, but some is years old. Some will have mature content, so I'll bring it up when necessary. But it's all stuff that's fully up on YouTube anyway, so don't worry too much about it. Also, obviously, I'm going to have a playlist of every video I bring up, so feel free to hop back and forth between that playlist and this video. And now let's actually get to the show. So I'm not going to go in any concrete order, but I do want to start with pilots and series and get the most popular stuff out of the way. So yeah, I'm going to bring up Glitch. I can't help it. I seriously think they're making some of the coolest stuff out there. I'm going to assume you already know about them, and I don't want to get into any of the discourse surrounding their stuff, so I just want to let you know that if you're the type of person who is kind of on the fence about getting into them, I want to be the one to push you off that fence. To me, their shows still feel like they're led by a small group of creatives who just have a ton more resources than usual, so I get excited for anything they produce. But to give you a specific recommendation, the most unsung Glitch show of their modern era is easily Gaslight District by Nick Zopko. When you're learning animation yourself, you start to realize how hard it is to make a truly great animation. And I gotta say, the animation on display here is on another level. It's extremely grimy, but in the best way possible. I think it's also next in line to become a full series now that Digital Circus is over, so that's something to look forward to. But that's enough about them. Here are some other heavy hitters that I recommend, and I'll slowly transition into the less popular ones. The Pink City series by Gooseworks. She created the Digital Circus, but I've been following her for years, and I already was deeply in love with everything else she's made. The Pink City shorts are a couple of shorts set in the same weird, abstract world, and are really just pure goofiness and chaos. There aren't too many, but I had to bring them up right away. Elaine the Bounty Hunter is the one on the playlist, but they are mostly standalone shorts. Monkey Wrench by Zerol on its dedicated channel. I probably can't make the plot pitches for these series not sound super lame, but I'll at least try. It follows a couple of broke space mercs who get in way too deep. There's already 5 episodes, and that's full, usually 20+ minute episodes, completely 2D animated. Honestly, some of the most premium 2D animation in the indie space. The art style is super colorful and sharp, and I guarantee your favorite character design will be one of the random background or side characters. Here's mine. Go watch the first episode, The Ghost Egg. Enna by Joel G. Just all of it. I'm pretty sure this is my top favorite indie project out of all of them. I call it a project, since there are both a decent amount of shorts on YouTube, but there's also a game, which is super animation heavy, so if you like the shorts, you'll like the game too. There's probably a plot here, but it isn't really a plot kind of project. The style is also that kind of retro surrealism, but even though it does lean into some horrific or freaky stuff, what I love the most about it is that it's also super sincerely goofy. I could gush about it more, but the first short is Auction Day, but you can really start with any of them. Tales of Elethrion by Skjalborn on its dedicated channel. This is a no-dialogue fantasy series spanning across multiple different stories that all occasionally collide with each other. Obviously, I recommend the episodes the most, but there are even some comics and other media that go into even more stories in this world. There are currently 9 labeled episodes at least, but I started the series on The Reward, which I only learned later was actually episode 3. It's about 2 guys who learn to love each other on their quest for the reward. They feature in later episodes too, of course. Or you can start with episode 1 too, The First Hero, which sets the groundwork for the overarching plot much more. The Reward doesn't spoil too much though. Spice Frontier by Steamroller Stories. This is Disney Pixar levels of 3D animation, but personally, with a way more appealing style. As far as I care, this is the pinnacle of stylized 3D animation. Everything's so colorful and expressive, and oh my god, those rim lights. I'm in love. It's the second sci-fi story on this list where the Earth is destroyed, but in this case, this guy just wants to bring it back in the form of cuisine. Right now, it only has a pilot episode, but there's also a sort of pilot, which is also really good. I do have to warn though, the pilot episode doesn't fully resolve its plot thread at the end, which is really annoying, but what is there is so good I have to recommend it. Soria and Dinosauria by David James Arnsby, aka Dead Sound. Up until now, most of the recommendations have been made by either a studio or a small group of people. These though are genuinely, completely made by one guy. Technically, he hired a guy to make the score, but everything else is just him. He made the world, he made the models, and he animated everything. That is actually insane for the amount of depth on display here. Soria is a much more fantastical world with sapient dinosaurs, while Dinosauria follows more normal, animalistic dinos. There are only 3 Soria episodes, but there are 8 Dinosauria ones. There isn't much of an overarching plot for either, so for Soria, I like Winter Weathered the most. The story is way more personal than the other 2, even though I also love the other 2. For Dinosauria, any of them work, but I'll go with Hunted by Moonlight. Also, he has a behind-the-scenes breakdown of every episode, so definitely watch those too. You really get to see how deep the process goes.
I think it's one of my best.
Candy Carries on its dedicated channel. Guys, it's about a cavity demon living inside a girl's mouth, and it's animated using acrylic cutouts that actually look like they're made of candy. How am I not supposed to recommend this? Although, I'm not going to lie, I have no idea how indie this show really is, considering it apparently just airs on TV over in Japan. But I feel like the people watching this video would want to see it, so I'm going to share it. It's insanely fun and expressive, especially by stop-motion standards. They really play with the scale of it all whenever they can. Each episode is super short, and there's 15 episodes as of the script, but they're putting them out pretty quickly, so you might as well start with episode 1. They're all fully subbed in English. Imara by Eating Stars Studios on its dedicated channel. Here's the first old one. This one came out 8 years ago in 2018, and is clearly made to be a superhero show for the UAE, where the studio is based. There are 5 episodes, each dubbed in either English or in formal and informal Arabic, the latter ones having English subtitles, which is how I like it. It's apparently gone completely dormant since its latest episode, with no current signs of it starting back up, which is a shame, because I think it would get a crazy amount of love in the modern indie landscape. At least we can appreciate what's still there. I love seeing what fun stories come out of different cultures. Sunnyside Down and House on the Outlands by Make Originals. These are also both super short, but they are extremely polished. Sunnyside Down is about a rundown diner on the edge of a black hole, and feels like something Adult Swim would put out. While House on the Outlands is about the dark supernatural happenings around the titular house, and has more Disney XD vibes. Sunnyside's episodes are disconnected, but you might as well start with the first. But House on the Outlands is a compilation of the whole series in one video, so that makes things easy. Now we're getting much more into the smaller scale stuff. I'll definitely have to get through these a lot faster. But even if I don't have that much to say, I still love all this stuff. Daystone by Van Ripper is another short series from 2018, and even though there are only 3 episodes at like 6 minutes of total runtime, I was so invested in the cool world and character designs when they were first coming out that I at least have to mention it. Doris and Marianne are breaking out of prison on its dedicated channel. The title kind of says it all. This is another short series, where some episodes are even less than 30 seconds. Also, this is from 2015. I was there from the start, and I was way into it back then. It's another series that could have really blown up in the modern indie world. Also, apparently the creator, Ben Levin, was one of the co-creators of Craig of the Creek, if that sways you in any way. Get Fatter Now by Binko. The title is just supposed to have the same acronym as the names of the main characters, apparently. I'm recommending this one not just because I like it, but also because I think you should really look at this as something you could totally be capable of making on your own. Not to say its animation is bad, of course. It is good, but it's also simple. Don't forget that indie animation doesn't have to be glitch level quality to get a million views. You might have to be good at writing comedy to get that million, but I digress. It's good. There's 2 full episodes and a short. Also, the creator is going on to make more new stuff, so you might as well follow them. Overclocked by Caramel Canister. This is a pilot that is apparently going to become a game, but I can't help love anything that goes this hard with its style and character design. It really feels like the creator is just doing whatever they want, which is genuinely the best part of indie animation. Doesn't matter what it is. If it feels like the creator's passion project, I'm in. Gaki Race by JT Studio. This is probably the coolest shit I've ever seen. Stop motion puppets and crazy short battles. There are only 4 episodes at like 50 seconds each, but you won't be able to pry your eyes off the screen the whole runtime. You can definitely binge each episode in full, but the creator made an opening credits song out of the series, so I'll put that in the playlist. Some of the episodes have crazy low views for the amount of effort being put in, so you have to go and see them. Two Bald Clowns by Toei Team.
From Toei Team.
Two Bald Clowns by Toei Team. I'm not usually the one to compare shows, but this clearly has some inspiration from Pinky and the Brain, with a sprinkle of smiling friends in there. Honestly, it's not even totally in my interests, but the fact that it's a super well-made 2D animated show that already has 2 full episodes, but is flying a bit under the radar, really makes me want to shout it out. Pedis Magus by Studio Ursa. Apparently Studio Ursa has done some work for some pretty big studios, but this is one of their original projects. It's extremely adorable, but has some of the lowest views out of everything in this video. These guys deserve way more than under 1,000 views on this stuff. At least it shows that they're in it for the love of the game. There are already 6 shorts out. The C-Pop Show by Who Creates. Here's another one with criminally low views. This is probably the most systematically distilled cuteness in the list, and everything is so comfy and pleasant. There are a couple of shorts, but I'll recommend Human Let's Fight Together, since it's the first one I saw. Okay, these last 6 are basically the whole reason why I made this video. I'm serious. If I'm on your second monitor, move me back to your first. I want you to see these. Analog by Macho Boy. This is definitely some sort of in-universe N64 game or something, but honestly, my eyes just like looking at it. It's obviously meant to be low poly, but it's animated with a much smoother frame rate, so it actually feels like you're watching a video game. Each character even has their own soundtrack. It doesn't really seem like there are super concrete episodes, so just go watch Dream Draw Distance, since it's the first one I saw, and it's the most fully produced one yet. Pixie Park by Boredom Archive. This is another series of shorter episodes, but it feels like it came straight out of the early internet, but not in a clearly using web interfaces kind of way. It's just about 2 employees in a water park made for pixies. It's super charming in how casual it is, and since I've never really been to water parks, now whenever I do see them, I'm like, oh my god, Pixie Park reference. They even have an in-universe NeoCity site for the park. It isn't too plot heavy, but you might as well start with episode 1. Dream Catchers on its dedicated channel. Star and TV go into people's dreams and help them sort out their stuff as much as they can. It sounds pretty simple, and yet you have no idea how much they hooked me in for a possible season 2, so I need you people to make them extra popular to ensure it happens. Obviously, start with episode 1. Also, as a side thing, they really made me appreciate the static noise that every 3D artist will try and shift the planets to get rid of. It actually gives a really cool vibe. The Looter series by Froginator Art. This is a multimedia sci-fi story. There's 2D animation, stop motion, and puppetry. And yet, what are these views? Are you kidding me? They should have millions. There's 6 episodes, and you can watch them in order, but I'd recommend The Looter Takes a Tumble, which is the most recent, and seems to sort of be the first episode of a kind of season 2, I think. It'll definitely be the one to sell you on the skills of its creator. Yuki 7 by Chromosphere. My god, the style. This was the first case where I was genuinely taken aback by how something so amazing could get so little attention. It's giving a retro sci-fi spy thriller vibes of the 60s, but with a super polished low poly style. There are 2 full episodes that are a fusion of shorts, so obviously go check it out. It's been a while since episode 2, so I doubt we'll be getting much more, but I still love what we have. Bionicle, The Chronicler's Tales by Renaissance VFX. Okay, this one's just for me. Bionicle is literally my favorite thing of all time, and whenever someone makes a highly produced piece of animation about it, I am instantly seated. But in this case, I actually feel like these shorts are much more approachable for a non-Bionicle fan, since they follow the more pedestrian happenings of one town in the greater world. I'll recommend Pekka, United Alone, which is just about a loner who finds a pet. Even though I'm clearly not the type of guy who's into realism, I can still appreciate the sheer amount of craftsmanship that goes into turning the Bionicle toys into this fully realized and deeper version. Okay, this is the quick series I thought were shorts section that I'm adding in post. Idol Obscura by Mutroid X Productions. It's just barely a series, by being the second of 2 shorts following this little guy, but I'm kind of attached to this one because I saw the behind the scenes video of the creator kit bashing the monster of this short months before the short was released. I'd never seen any kit bashing at this level, so seeing each part of the monster get blended into its own cohesive design was really fun. Oh yeah, and of course, I found this guy from him animating Bionicles over It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia clips. Never actually watched the show, but like I said, I'm always in for Bionicle animations. He also made a music video using characters with Kit Bash Bionicle parts too, which I almost had on this list. The House Inside Her Head by Anton M. Genuinely, a thumbnail like that is an instant sell for me. Easily the best thumbnail on this list. I guess part of the reason why it's the best is because the actual animation style follows through with the promise. You can't really go wrong with the spooky vibe with so many swirls. I also love seeing a cute design, like the main character, also have a manic and jittery personality. It feels refreshing for some reason. Also, this technically has a second short with the same character, so it's technically a series, but whatever. And those are all the pilots and series on the list. But because I seriously need people to realize that indie animation isn't just about pilots, here are a bunch of standalone shorts, and I'll sprinkle in some music videos at the end too. So, I want to ask, did you know that people just upload their student films to YouTube? You can literally just search up anything like CalArts student film with the various schools and find hundreds of results. CalArts has playlist compilations for every year. Ringling films seem to be posted mostly by the CG Bros channel, and there are also some good SVA ones around too. And from France, the schools Gobelin and Esma both have their own channels where they post student films. Honestly, the vast majority of the best animation I've seen on YouTube is in the form of a student film, so if you want hours upon hours of animation to watch, you should definitely go looking for this stuff. I'm going to limit myself to 2 films from CalArts, Gobelin, and Esma, or else this whole list would be made up of them. Technically, some slip through the cracks, but whatever. From CalArts, there's Prince Ivan and the Clockwork Heart by Xenia Balashov, and Cocoon by Daishuan Yuan. Even though it wasn't intentional, they're both extremely pretty and flatly stylized, and I guess both are about love, to some extent. I do enjoy it when things get weird and kind of incomprehensible in animation, even for somewhat simpler things like what happens at the end of Clockwork Heart. From Gobelin, 2 very different vibes. How to Make a Friend, which has a much more kid-friendly vibe, despite the darker atmosphere, and Skin Flick, which is fully not safe for work. I guess the Gobelin channel has the artistic nudity badge on YouTube that lets them actually post that stuff, so just be warned. I also think they are easily the cream of the crop when it comes to animation on YouTube, so I would highly recommend going through every single short film they've posted if you can handle all that. Skinflick specifically is intentionally extra lewd, but it's still very good, and even reminds me of some of my characters, so that's fun. Not to steal too much of a spotlight from How to Make a Friend though, it definitely has one of those worlds that somehow seems super comfy despite it being a land of darkness and scrap metal. From Esma, there's Red and Chateau de Sable. CalArts and Gobelin are primarily 2D art schools, while Esma is mostly 3D. Chateau de Sable, which of course means sandcastle, was one I was waiting for since they teased it way back in 2015, since I instantly love the concept of sand guards defending their castle against a giant, normal-sized crab. Red is from their most recent batch from 2024, and is much more flat and stylized than their films tend to be. As you can tell at this point, that's the kind of stuff I'm into. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll just leave it there. Now outside of schools, how about a different short called Chateau de Sable on the ONF channel from 1977? I'm a sucker for much older short films of any kind, so I had to put something in. This one is a film funded by the ONF, or the NFB in English, or the National Film Board of Canada. Credit to Doodley for introducing me to them. Go to the info card to watch his video on them. They're another source of tons of shorts that go way back, even to the 50s. This Chateau de Sable is way more slow and surreal than Esma's, and it's the perfect kind of old-fashioned stop motion that I love. It makes you feel strange, but I like that strange. I mentioned them a second ago, but the CG Bros channel has a ton of the most classic YouTube animations that I watched way long ago when they first came out. One of my favorites from that time was Doomed by El Señor Studio. It's a documentary about some stupid little creatures, and as a fan of Spore, I'm obviously going to be in love with it. Definitely go binge the CG Bros channel if you somehow need even more animation. They even post some Esma films. Also because I love Spore, Singularity by the Blender Studio. Blender, my 3D art software of choice, if you somehow didn't already know that, also has an animation division, and Singularity is their most recent film. If your film features a purple little space guy, I'm there. They also have pretty deep production logs on their channel if you want to see their whole process. Apparently they're now working on a full feature film. Now from China, Ruthless Blade on the Bilibili channel. This is from an anthology of indie Chinese animated shorts called Capsules, which is another must-watch if you're into animation. This is the first part of their second season, quote-unquote, of shorts, and it's one of the types of 3D art that looks hand-painted, probably because it is. Also, I didn't end up with too much action animation on this list, which is a shame, because it's always the most impressive kind of animation. I also love an ending that recontextualizes the whole thing. Snubbed by Jesse Brock and Keon Sherritt. Honestly, for shorts on this scale, I don't know who to credit in a little blurb like this, since obviously multiple people are involved, and I don't want to act like one person is the sole creator, but it's at least on Keon's channel Kip-kun. Also, it's another student film. I'm telling you, student films are some of the best animations on YouTube. Like most of them, Snubbed feels on par or better than most professional scale productions. I also just love worlds where it seems like clowns are like the dominant species, instead of just a random profession. Mention on its dedicated channel. This is one of those, this definitely means something, but I have no idea what kind of shorts. It's also a short that has an absolutely decorated thumbnail. Probably the most awards I've seen on a single thumbnail. Or at least they're the short that decided to flaunt their awards the most. It does deserve it. I guess we can go through some of the other award winners with Nocturne by Anne Brayman. Even though they're not flaunting it in the thumbnail, this one's also won many awards. Stop motion and dark vibes have always gone hand in hand, but I also love all the freaky little guys. I feel like it's the kind of short where saying I like the freaky little guys is kind of missing the point, but whatever, I do. The Starry Night by VCR Works. So, growing up as a self-conscious male has nearly eliminated my ability to cry, but my god, this one got me close. There's something about older people in love that really hits me harder than the average love story. I definitely can't spoil it, so I'll just say they created one of the most idealized spaces on the planet. I don't think it's possible to conceive of a more serene setting. It seems like this is another channel with a good few shorts to binge, so check them out too. A Silky Scarf by, and I'm going to rely on Google for this, Maciej Kajila. This one's 13 minutes long, so it really feels like a more complete story. Considering that this is a student film that seems entirely made by one person outside of the score, you really have to commend the effort. In cases like this, part of me wonders whether the story is the creator's most cherished of original stories they've had for years. I can't imagine making a 13-minute film about anything else. And for the last of the award winners, alas, another Shipwreck by Pal Places, which won the award for, I guess, the You Got Into This Video award. There's been a shipwreck, and it's definitely everyone's fault, individually. Its base style is already so appealing, but on top of that, each character's tirade then gets its own art style, which is crazy. And aside from all the goofy chaos, it actually hits you with a pretty hard message at the end. I do love the fake award joke in the thumbnail, but honestly I feel like it could win one for real. Capsules by Shemit. No relation to that other one. It's also a student film apparently, but I'm putting it on its own anyway. Obviously I love the thing as a whole, but for some reason I'm kind of obsessed with the part in the middle where the enemy robot's noises transition into the fight music. I don't know if that was inspired by something else, but now I'm inspired by it, and I'm definitely going to put it in my own thing now. Star Creation by Dude Let Me Go. I feel like you might have seen his short called Fantasy Haircut around, which seems to be his most popular one, but I'll recommend Star Creation since it's the first one I saw from him. I'm always in for abstract creation myths, but of course, like the rest of his stuff, there's also a perfect amount of humor to it. It gives Thief and the Cobbler vibes. Also, he has a bunch of great shorts on his channel, so go check those out too. Life of a Salesman by Zerimations. Listen, if you're a Spamton head, this is a special treat just for you.
What's the buzz?
There's Deltarune animations on his channel, so he can't pretend. Also, you can't hide that 3D Ultra Lionel Train Town Deluxe soundtrack from me. That stuff's burned into my cochlea. I may be LARPing my nostalgia for the whole retro 3D art aesthetic, but that game specifically is truly mine.
How long have you been doing this?
And to cap off the whole video, a couple of music videos. The first is the most indulgent. Radiant Revival. The song's by Jamie Page featuring Hatsune Miku, but of course, since this video is about animation, I finally get to mention Vipori. She's one of those recent artists where you'll be watching some random other thing, and you'll suddenly see her work out of nowhere. In this case, a whole Miku music video. And honestly, I think this is my single favorite piece of Miku related media out there, which is seriously saying a lot. The whole video basically slaps a permanent smile across your face. I love the song too, of course, but I can gush about music in a different video. Digital Alice by Sorry Stacy. I guess my brain is just a magnet for low poly styles. Although in this case, if you ever looked into making low poly characters in Blender, you probably stumbled on her tutorials for that. I only just recognized the thumbnails after seeing the music video, and I didn't even realize she's actually been making music long before those. I know I said this video is about animation, but honestly, the song itself buried itself into my brain immediately. She has a behind the scenes video about the whole thing, including the music as well, and it's rightfully an hour long. All of these graphics are physical objects in the scene. And finally, Force of Nature by Aha Animations. This is another animation that drove me to make this video, and it's less of a music video and more of a music-oriented animation. Unlike the others, I'm going to pause for a second and tell you to just go watch it. It's the kind of thing that doesn't need to be paired with the audio to truly get it, and I don't want to just yap on top of the music. You don't really feel like it? I can't force you. But oh my god, this feels like it should be a part of a modern Fantasia. As per my comment on the video, the snappiness of it all just feels so satisfying, especially the bird dashing between the light bulbs, and how both the lightning and its shockwave are both in tune with the beat. And you know, views aren't everything, but like 2,500? That's it? I gotta at least try and restore some justice in the world. If you're feeling lazy before, this video's about to be over anyway, so you have no excuse. Go watch it. You can spare 5 minutes. Okay, that was only like 3 music videos, but if you get me started, I'll talk for way too long about them. I honestly think the animated music video is the single greatest artistic medium, so if this video does well, and if you say you want to watch it, I'm 100% going to make a video just like this, where I talk about my favorite animated music videos. I have so many. But hey, that's all of them. Hopefully that was a decent amount of variety. Obviously, I can't pretend like this video is actually about proving the haters wrong or whatever. I just wanted to share a bunch of indie animation that I thought deserved a spotlight. I get recommended so many animations on each of these videos, and just in general, so hopefully the sheer amount of recommendations will let you find an endless amount of other stuff you can watch as well. If you want to recommend something yourself, definitely do so in the comments. I've gathered up a ton more stuff than this, so I might even mention a few that didn't quite make the video itself. But aside from that, I guess go to my Linktree to see all the other accounts where I post art. You can also see a link to my Patreon there, where you can pay any listed amount to keep updated on whatever I'm working on. Doing that will really help me stave off the urge to get sponsors or whatever, so I can keep making perfectly clean content. And since you're so kind for watching to the very end of this video, I'll let you know that I actually have a public playlist on my channel for every single piece of animation I found that I like. It just crossed over 1,000 videos, and I update it whenever I find something new, so you can save it to your lists and keep up with it yourself. I also share all of my animation finds on my Discord server as I find them, so go to my Linktree for that. And thanks for watching.